I'll admit it. I have a problem. I'm a photo junkie. I cannot go on a vacation without taking hundreds, and more realistically, thousands of photos. When Rick and I went to Japan, we went fully prepared with new phones, full batteries, and an excitement to capture Japan's beauty on film, or at least in Google Photos. And I'm so glad we had great cameras, as we were busy taking pictures of all the wonderful things we saw in Japan. The cherry blossoms, the architecture, the food, the temples, the bright lights of Tokyo, and Japan's natural beauty. We had about 3 days in Kyoto, and we made sure we stopped at some fantastic photography locations while there. So here's a list of our favorite photography locations in Kyoto. The Imperial Palace. The Imperial Palace will always have a special place in our hearts, as it was where we saw our first real cherry blossom blooms in Japan. We saw a few in Tokyo, but the ones in Kyoto were open and ready for their close-ups. It was honestly magical seeing all the trees filled with the white and pink flowers. Now, not only did we get to see the blossoms in Kyoto, we finally also had gorgeous springtime weather. Kyoto used to be Japan's capital for many years, and the Imperial Palace was the imperial family's residence until 1868. Today, the grounds are free to visit, though there is no entry into the palace buildings, and there is recreational space along with the gardens where we saw our first cherry blossom trees. Kinkakuji, or the Golden Pavilion. This temple was made to be photographed. The top 2 floors are completely covered in gold leaf, and it's an iconic building. The pavilion is now a Zen temple, but was once the retirement villa of the shogun, and I apologize, I am most likely going to mispronounce this name, Ashikaga Yoshimitsu, who wrote it in his will that it would become a Zen temple after his death, which happened in 1408. This temple inspired the build of the Silver Pavilion, or Ginkakuji, built by Yoshimitsu's grandson, which also became a Zen temple after the grandson's death in 1490. Interestingly, the Golden Temple has been burned down several times. It was actually burned down twice during the Onin War, and then again in 1950 by a monk. The current structure has been in place since 1955. Not only is the Golden Pavilion gorgeous, but the grounds and other buildings on the property are as well. Nijo Castle. Next up on our list of places to photograph in Kyoto was Nijo Castle. This national treasure dates back to 1603 and achieved UNESCO World Heritage Site status in 1994. The castle is famous for Ninomaro Palace, with its nightingale floors, due to the sound the floors make as people walk on them. It was pretty neat and unlike anything we'd ever heard before. Plus, the different rooms were absolutely stunning with the different murals, painted ceilings, and painted doors. Now, unfortunately, photography is not allowed within the palace walls. We only got to take mental photographs in there. Rick and I walked around the Ninomaro garden and snapped pictures of the pond and well-cared-for trees before walking upon another garden that was filled with cherry blossom trees, which unfortunately were not blooming yet. We kept strolling, and luckily for us, a special event was taking place on the grounds, so we got to watch a dance festival for a bit and take photographs of that. Fushimi Inari Shrine. A visit to see the Torii Gates wasn't on our original itinerary, but I'm glad we were able to make it happen, as these gates are so recognizable as a symbol of Kyoto. Plus, I just really wanted to see it with my own 2 eyes. We'll get this out of the way. The entry to this walking path is pure chaos. There are people everywhere, and everyone is trying to get that Instagram-worthy shot. If you can, and if you have time, keep walking and the crowd will thin out pretty quickly. Within about 10 minutes, we were able to snap pictures without anyone in them. If you think about Kyoto, the images of Fushimi Inari Shrine are often the first ones that come to mind. These Torii Gates are stunning, and it's unlike anything we can find here in Colorado. The trail leads up to Fushimi Inari Shrine, a Shinto shrine, which dates back to 794. Inari is the Shinto god of rice, and this is most definitely not the only shrine dedicated to Inari in Japan. Keep a lookout for the many fox statues on the ground, as it's said that foxes are the god's messengers, and our own tour guide told us the story of foxes saving the harvest and the rice, as they would eat or chase away the rats that would otherwise eat the rice for themselves. Gion. Another area we enjoyed taking photography in Kyoto was in the Gion district, where the geishas live. We visited this Kyoto neighborhood at night, and it actually kind of made our photos look even cooler with the blue lighting. Gion has a beautiful temple, and we found some blooming cherry blossoms during our walk around the grounds. We did walk down some of the streets known for geisha houses, but there were plenty of signs asking visitors not to take photos and be respectful of those that live on the street. Arashiyama District. Lastly, one of our favorite places to snap pictures in Kyoto was in Arashiyama, especially in the bamboo groves. We were there later in the day, and the position of the sun made for some amazing photographs as the sun lit up the bamboo stalks and the foliage at top. But that does mean we were battling more crowds than had we gone earlier in the morning. On our visit, we included a stop at the Okichi Sanso Villa, complete with gardens and a few buildings like a little tea house. We then moved on to visit Tenryuji Temple, which is listed as one of Kyoto's 5 great temples. The temple dates back to 1339 and is situated among beautiful gardens with blooming cherry blossoms, a peaceful body of water, and plenty of walking paths. It was a great place to end our sightseeing tour in Japan. We cannot wait to return to Kyoto and snap more pictures of this beautiful city. If you've heard of other places we need to add to our list of photography spots in Kyoto, please share those in the comments. Otherwise, thanks for watching.